You're listening to the Vint Wine Podcast, where you'll hear interviews and stories from around the wine world. From writers and critics to winemakers and sommeliers, we'll explore the people and businesses who are instrumental in shaping wine culture. Enjoy the show.
All right, we are here with 5 questions with Chasity Cooper. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, we'll dive right in. Question 1, what is your relationship with wine? What do you do in the wine industry?
I would say my relationship to wine is a hybrid one. Foundationally, I am a writer, I'm an author, I'm a journalist. I report on wine. I have the privilege of speaking to people in various facets of our industry and taking that information and telling it to various different people in different forms, whether that be social media, traditional publications, in print or digital. I'm just really lucky to, 1, be in love with the art of storytelling and writing, and 2, to have wine as a canvas and really the industry as a canvas to be able to tell so many great stories.
Perfect. Question number 2, what are you currently drinking, or what style of wine are you most into right now?
Right now, I am really into crisp, acidic white wines. I've had a couple blends over the last few days that were really delicious, but anything from Chasity to Verdejo to a great Riesling, a great dry Riesling. We are moving into summer weather here in Chicago, so anything crisp and white and acidic is all right with me. But there's also rosé, orange wines. I love sparkling wine, so this summer, the wine list is going to vary a lot of good things, but there will be a lot of crisp, acidic white wines.
Perfect. Me too. In your opinion, what is the most underrated region in the wine world right now? If you had to pick maybe just 1 or maybe 2.
I think there are 2 underrated regions in the wine world currently, and they're both in the United States. The first is the Finger Lakes region. I had the incredible opportunity to be a camper at Riesling Camp this year. And so not only did I taste an abundance of Riesling, but I also had some great Cab Franc, a number of the different hybrid varietals that are growing out there, which is really cool. And just to be able to see how beautiful the region is, I think that should draw people to want to not only go and taste the wines, but also to experience the beauty of that area. And the second one is Traverse City, Michigan. Again, another place I've recently spent time in. Not only are the wines like Riesling and Cab Franc and others doing exceptionally well out there, but it's also another beautiful place for people to go hiking, to have time by the lake, to visit the beaches. Cherries are a huge thing in Traverse City. So really just to explore the cities around Traverse City, I would highly encourage folks to check out both the Finger Lakes region and Traverse City.
Next, question 4. What is one current wine trend that you disagree with or don't like?
I think, and I keep bringing this up to a number of friends, but right now the trend of putting jalapeños in Sauvignon Blanc, I think primarily what people are experiencing when they do that is activated pyrazines. So for those who are wine nerds, pyrazines give that green, bell peppery taste, mostly found in Sauvignon Blanc. And so I think when folks slice up some jalapeños, or whether they put that in their Sauvignon Blanc or their rosé, you're just activating this green peppery note that might otherwise not be tasted unless you knew about it. So I think it's a cool way for people to recognize, that there is this pepper alignment that's actually quite scientific to the making of wine. And they're able to relate it to jalapeno. So everybody who's drinking it, by all means, go forth. I've tried it. I'm good on it. And I'm going to keep jalapenos and other spicy peppers outside of my wine.
All right, last question. What is one wine-related experience or story that stands out to you the most in your journey so far?
I think I've had a number of really great wine-related experiences. I've also had the privilege of writing some really dope stories. So I'll speak to each part. One, I think going to Bulgaria about 2.5 years ago was definitely transformative. I'd never been that far east in Europe, and just to see how very old worldly the region is, cobble streets, just the oldness of the buildings and the history of Bulgaria was really cool to see, but also to be able to taste the wine variety of that country, Mavrud, And it was interesting to watch how so many producers and just leaders in the wine industry out there were really coming together, and they were basically trying to decide, okay, we're going to rally around this grape variety to make it the one that we put our stick in the ground and be like, hey, Bulgaria is known for Mavrud. Maybe they've done a better job at that over the last couple of years, but it was really fascinating just to see them have those conversations, that region have those conversations about that. And I'd say a story that stands out to me the most, I've had the privilege of writing a lot of great stories, whether it be on retailers during the pandemic or how Chicago food pairs with different wines. I'd have to say the one that still continues to stick out to me the most is one I wrote for Imbibe. It was in the October 2020 issue. But a lot of the interviews I did for the story happened during the summer of 2020, shortly after the murder of George Floyd in Minnesota. As everybody can remember, there was this reckoning, not only just for our country, but also for our industry. And so a lot of initiatives began to establish themselves around providing Black and brown people in the industry with opportunities to get the education they need, to get the jobs that they need. And I spoke to a number of Black wine professionals who I had long looked up to, which again, a very tender time to do that. But it was so humbling to hear them share their stories. As long as they had been in the industry, we're talking about decades for some of them, but for them to talk about why that particular time was important, why Black wine professionals have always been a thing, and they're not like they weren't a new commodity then, and they're not a new commodity now. So to really have the opportunity to tell that story, it was very timely, of course, but it was also a great privilege that I had to interview folks like Brene Royal and Andre Houston Mack and TJ Douglas and Julia Coney and Tahira Bibi, and have these very candid conversations at such a heavy time in our country. But we definitely made the space to share how we were feeling in that moment, not just as Black wine professionals, but as humans. And it turned out to be a really, really great story.
Wow, those are great. All right, well, thank you so much for your time. That was 5 questions with Chasity Cooper.